Alright everybody, we are back working on the 88. Let me see if I can get this thing. Alright, I've gone a little overboard and I started hot bluing and cold bluing all the hardware for the Fiero. I mean, it got a little out of hand. Maybe. Maybe. No, it wouldn't. It wouldn't get that far out of hand. Yeah, it did. I own it. I got a little crazy. I figured, you know, all these nice new parts, well, I put crusty old bolts back on, right? I even evapor rusted the parking brake brackets. They turned out really nice. The CAD plating kind of looks a lot better than it did. So, you guys are probably curious as to what's going on with the 88 over there. Well, as you can see, the rack is still pretty damn full of crap. Getting some work done. Spindles are all done. I should have evapor rusted the hubs, but you can't see them anyway. Those are the steering rack brackets. Bunch of miscellaneous parts over here getting painted. I know I didn't powder coat them, crazy. The engine's sitting there. It's been covered up. Doesn't have a valve cover on it. And this garage gets very dusty because of my blast cabinet. I need to actually run the exhaust for the dust collection system. I'm running 2 dust collection systems. I need to actually run that outside, but like as you can see, it gets a fine gritty dust in here. See it on top of the blast cabinet. So I have to blow this garage out every few days. Engine sitting there looking pretty. Haven't done a whole lot other than just odds and ends. Been working on the revised upper head mount. We're gonna see where that ends up, but I can't do the final drill because that's where the bolt should go, but we actually need to raise those up like 9mm, but I won't know until I can put it in the car and verify. I don't want to have to remake that. So the car, I've owned this car for 8+ years. It's never been this far apart, but all nice and painted. I got this all cleaned up in here. It looks a lot better. Same thing up front. Get some light. Same thing up front. It looks a lot better than it did. Really clean. God, I love the SEM paint. I mean, it's gonna look brand new again. Look at that. All right, hopefully by the end of this video, we will be at FabTech picking up all the powder coating, and let me tell you, I'm a little afraid of that bill because a lot of stuff got powder coated. So it's gonna be a tight squeeze to get all that. I'm sure it's gonna be $500 or so to pick up to pay for all the powder coating. And we're working on a surprise. I mentioned it on the K24 page on Facebook. We're gonna look at making tubular cradles. I think that's gonna be pretty cool. I've got a complete 84 to 87 front and rear suspension. We're gonna look into making tubular A-arms for those and for the 88 front. Because I already have tubular A-arms with QA1 coilover, so it'd be easy to kind of reference those and then build our own. But again, this is in the very initial stages. Please don't blow me up yet. Let's see what we can get figured out. I've got both an 84 to 87 and an 88 here to test fit the parts, so we'll see. You know, if it works, it works. If it doesn't, it doesn't. Ultimately, I'd love to be able to make spindles, like lowering spindles, so you still get your full suspension travel, but have the lowered look. I think that would be really cool. It's just, got to see what we can do. I'd love to be able to sell some parts, but the Fiero market's kind of weird. Everybody says they want it, but when it comes time to pay for it, vaporware. So, you know, at the end of the day, I might just end up sets for my own and for the blur, which I'm okay with, but, you know, follow along and we'll see where we end up with it, all right? So hopefully this cuts to picking up powder coating. All right, the engine is now back on the cradle. I should say engine and transmission. This is how it's bolted on down here. Now remember, this is just a prototype. It will be replaced soon. Get my cradle all dirty already. Nice, all the fresh powder coat. Oh yeah, we got a bunch. There's the front subframe. Got all kinds of goodies in here. That's the swirl pot. Hubs are done. This is just the stuff I picked up today. Hopefully the rest will be done on Wednesday or so. But I need to go ahead and test fit this because, again, we did run into the error where the head mount, when you put on the poly bushing, actually hit the serpentine belt there. So it may just be a case where we can space it out a little bit more, which was 9mm, or raised up 9mm. Either way, this would be an easy fix because this is already spaced out. Otherwise, we will have to change the mount over here. And essentially, the easiest way to do it would be put some more material on the bottom there and then move the bolt holes straight down 9mm, and then this would be good. But we'll see. I won't know till I get it back in the engine. But we got the water pump put back on, and the evap canister relocated. And by relocated, I mean that's where I had it when it was a Turbo 3800, and I love putting it in that spot because it's down and out of the way. Let's see. I messed with a bunch of the wiring in here, but oh dear God. I did get the throttle cable replaced, which was fun. And I got the new bulkhead riveted in, and then got that seam sealed. But whoa, you can smell it really bad inside the car right now. You can see where it's seam sealed on that end, and of course that'll all get painted to match, so that'll disappear soon. But progress is being made. All right, let's get this engine test fit. All right, well, work continues on the 88. We got a lot of the powder coating back. I still have to go tomorrow and pick up some more. It has been a grind. I did have to alter the prototype mounts, especially the one on the head side, because of the way the mount interfered once you put on the serpentine belt. So let me show you what I did there. Yeah, that's the new head mount that I made. So now I got to take that tomorrow, get a CAD file done up for it, and then I'll be able to reproduce that. I spoke to Antonio. You see that mount down there. I spoke to Antonio about the production mounts and if they were ready. He's like, no. And I said, well, I'm gonna go ahead and take this one off, try to copy it, modify it, get it to fit exactly the way I want it, and then I'll do a CAD file, and then we'll do the updated version on that. It's just killing them down there with COVID and like everything shut down. I have a local place that luckily has been really good to me, so we're gonna go do all that, get the CAD files updated, so the mounts may be available soon. We just don't know. I know a lot of people are asking me, and then I'm kind of like stuck in between, so I'm gonna do what I can to get these done and brought out to market. But this is where we're at. Buttoning up a lot of things. I started playing with the throttle cable. Let me get over on the other side. All right, so one of the good things about using the K-tuned 90mm throttle body is you can see I want to put this into about the halfway point on the adjustment, but as you can see, I still got a lot of cable left over. So I need to unloosen these button head cap screws, reclock. We're going to turn it some more, so where the ferrule is moved up a bit more, and that'll tighten up our throttle cable and still keep us in the middle on the adjustment. This is the custom throttle cables that I had made just for the K24 swap, which isn't fun to replace, but it's in, it's done, and that's it. But I have to have your old cable to do the modifications. To just the ends inside the Fiero, they just can't get, so it's easier just to modify your existing cable until we can come up with an alternate solution. So this mount down here, it's looking good. No Nothing needed changing there, but I am gonna have to modify that big ugly mount there. And see if I can get the camera in there. And see if I can do something with that mount down there. You can barely see it, can you? Yeah, so I also will alter that mount as well. That one will be really easy. So right now I'm just buttoning up a lot of the odds and ends, see where we're at. You know, get everything clean and painted. I gotta pick up all the suspension stuff tomorrow, so we'll be able to start putting suspension back together. My garage is trashed, but I'm getting there. And as soon as I get this down and get this buttoned up, I really need to get Mike's Fiero back in here, pull that harness out and send that off. We're just gonna start over with a new harness. It's nothing on James. He did everything he could, but it's just acting weird. You have the coolant temp open, coolant temp shorted, turn the car on, let it run. It'll get up to temperature, the fan will kick on like it's supposed to. Unplug the coolant temperature sensor, the fan kicks on like it's supposed to. So it's working, but the ECU says it's not. And we checked the 5-volt reference, you know, the input and output. I just don't know what's going on with it. Mike's been super patient, but I can't keep pulling that harness off and going pin by pin because the diagnostic time is just getting ridiculous. He's better off starting with a fresh harness and then going from there, because my labor time on doing all the diagnostic, it doesn't make sense to try to keep playing with this one harness, and I don't know what else to do at this point. OBD1 sucks ass. So anyway, got a lot of stuff laying around, the front subframe, all that. I'll start buttoning all that up soon. I just want to get the last bit of fabrication stuff that I need done. Once I get that front subframe on, I can go ahead and start running the tubing for the water to air intercooler, which hopefully we won't probably get to that in this video, but we'll at least hopefully get all the stuff buttoned up on the engine. So let me get to remaking that mount. All right, here we go. all right, everybody, it is a great day today. We finally got the powder coat, and excuse the garage, but we're in hardcore fabrication mode. I am trying to get the mounts and stuff done. I'll show you a preview of what I've got done. If you're on Fiero on Facebook, you get regular updates. Also, there's Fiero K20, K24 swap. Also on Facebook and on Instagram, Fiero_K_swap. I wish I could get them all to say the same thing, but it is what it is. All right, so let me show you what we've been doing. There's one of my new prototype mounts. I'm taking that tomorrow to go get it professionally remade in CAD files, so we will be able to produce those. Here's the upper head mount. And then is this side mount. And then we have the one over here on the transmission. And of course, you already know about the mounting brackets in the car. And here's another one that I had to remake because when it was built originally, the bushing actually hit the serpentine belt once the serpentine belt was installed. So all this has got to come off. Take it tomorrow, go get those copied, and hopefully, he said it'll only be a few days for him to have me an actual pattern part made and ready to use, and then we can ramp up production if we so choose to do so. But let me show you the powder coat. Now, wrinkle red is my favorite color for valve covers, and that's exactly what we did on this one. However, we tried something new other than my wrinkle red or, you know, the satin black that I always have on, you know, chassis parts and, you know, things of that nature. We went with a gorgeous hammered copper vein, and I absolutely love it. I wish I would have powder coated the valve cover and the brake calipers to match because I love this color. It is so sick. But we got tons of parts down here. All the suspension parts. I don't know how well you'll be able to see that through the cellophane that they wrap, but all the suspension parts are the copper. We had the outer brake halves done in just a plain red. I wish again I would have matched it with that copper and the valve cover. I think that would have tied in nicely. I have to go through all this and get the bushings and all the hardware matched up to where it needs to go. That should be fun. Get started on that today, but most of the powder coat is done with the exception of the tubular front control arms. We are looking into reproducing those. You can't get them anymore, so I have them. I have the QA1 14-way externally adjustables, which are hiding over here somewhere. There's the conies for the rear. Where are my QA1s? There's the springs and all that and the sleeves. Where's my QA1s? I pulled out all the extra wiring, non-stock wiring out of the car. That was a lot. I'm probably gonna sell. I got a cool gauge that goes with all this. It was for the 3800 stuff. I can't remember what it's called. It's not a Scan Master, but it's something similar. And it does all the diagnostic data and displays it, but I can't remember what it's called. Here, QA1, QA1, QA1. Dude, this place is so trashed. I have my car, I have the Blur, I have my customer Mike's car here, which is gonna get worked on next once I get my car assembled to where everything's back on it. Not finished and running, but all the stuff that's over there, all the stuff that's over there, back onto this. And then that way I have room to pull his car in, pull the harness off and send that out. And we're gonna try to, it's gotta be in the wiring harness. There's just no other reason why that car is doing what it's doing. And that car should have been done. And Mike's been really cool about how long it's taking. And then he always knew once my car got here, I would be all over that. So Mike, thank you for being really cool about all this. And I've done a lot of extra work to his car. So it all kind of works out. It's a symbiotic relationship. I'm a little concerned about my QA1s. I found them. They were right here. All right, that's my QA1, externally adjustable. So I gotta get a part number for these, figure out which ones these are, and then we can offer those for the tubular front suspension, or people can just call QA1, which would be the easier way to do it. And then that's less parts I have to buy, because Fiero community is great about saying they're gonna buy stuff, but when you actually make it, they don't really buy. And it's funny how that works. So I'm not catching myself out there with a bunch of inventory. I'm not gonna do it. So that's why we made the hard decisions on the K-swap stuff. And I know a lot of people have asked, and I guarantee you this is gonna be the new swap that takes over Fieros. I've got the only ones in the game right now. I've got the K24 A2 from a TSX with the 6-speed in the 88. I have the K20 EP3 SI 5-speed in the Blur. So those are two different combinations, and I'm learning Hondas. And I didn't know it, but the 6-speed from the K20 is different from the 6-speed in the TSX. It's more like the mounting from the EP3 style, which would be what's in the Blur. I think I have the puzzle pieces that could do all this, to do all the swaps, but right now what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna offer the mounts that I showed you earlier in the video, and the mounting brackets that go on the frame rails. And of course I can supply the throttle cable conversion, information on the shifter cables. You guys know I share. I'm not trying to make $1 bazillion off of this. It's just not how I do things. But I have the information on all that stuff to get it to work in the car. I will offer a wiring harness, which is 100% professionally made, not made by me, because we know about my contrast and color blindness. But I want to get these out there, but I don't want to get myself in a situation where I'm fronting all the money for production and then we trickle with sales. I'm just not in a position to be able to do that, so I'm not going to. What I might do is a group buy. That's exactly what I'll do. I'll do a group buy. Everybody can prepay. We'll line up the production time frame, and then we'll send them out like that, and then that'll get them out there, and we'll get the first few people building them, and then it always picks up after that. It's funny how that works, but you guys know the stuff that I've had a part in producing and getting it out to the market. The stuff is phenomenal, and that's what I will continue doing. I'm not out here to try to screw anybody over, and I'm not really a good businessman because I tell you guys everything. So it's just, I'm old school. I'll never forget it. When I first bought the Blur, it had a broken taillight. And the guy stopped me, and he was part of the local Fiero club there in Hampton Roads. And he told me about the Fiero meets and invited me out to a club meet. And then he saw my broken taillight, and it had just like a little hole right here. And he's like, oh, we can't let you go to the meet like that with that broken taillight. Went to his house. He gave me a completely like perfect taillight to put on the Blur. And I was like, dude, how much you owe for it? He said, nothing. He said, just help the next guy. And that stuck with me. And I've been in Fiero since the early 90s. And that's always how I'm at. I always go above and beyond, try to help people out if I got stuff. And rarely do I get that favor returned, but it's just who I am. So yeah, sometimes I get screwed over, but I know I'm doing the right thing. And hopefully some people out there will then return the favor to the next guy or girl. So yeah, that's where we're at on this. I don't know how long it's gonna take to get the mounts. He seems to think it's only gonna be a few days for me to have the pattern parts that I can then put on my car, and we'll be going. There was a bit of a falling out between me and the guys that were originally helping me with this build. Now remember, I built the first K-Swap Fiero in the world, and they were working on my car. And for whatever reason, COVID, there was a lot of stuff going on behind the scenes that I'm not going to get into. Let's just say there were problems being made where there weren't any. And I don't like getting stuck in between stuff. I don't like drama. It's just not my thing. So we went separate ways. There might be some hard feelings, but I don't have any. It is what it is with COVID and, you know, the stuff that was said and done. It's just better to just part ways. And you know, I was out of my car for almost 4 years, but it is what it is. And I don't wish any ill will. I don't want any internet drama. I wish those guys the absolute best, and I genuinely mean that. It's just too much drama, and I don't like drama, and I'm out of it. So I will continue on with what I'm doing. They might not like it, but I have it. I have knowledge. You know, it is what it is. So with that said, I got a lot of bushings to press in and hardware to match up, a lot of boring stuff. So I'll see you guys on the next video. Hopefully we'll have the new mounts in and a lot of this stuff assembled, because my garage is trashed and I got a lot of work to do. So thanks for watching. If you like what you see, please consider subscribing. I really do appreciate the community support on this, and it's been a big project. And I am trying to balance between trying to get my car done up and running and trying to help out other potential K-Swap people in what they need. And if I've got it, if I can get it produced to where I don't put myself in a bind financially, and try to help people out. So it's a balancing act, but I'm trying my best. So hit that subscribe button, give me a thumbs up. If you didn't like the video, give me a thumbs down, but tell me why you didn't like it. Help me improve the video. So that said, we'll see you on the next video.